We're taking Sunday No Huddle on the road here in Lincoln. I'm joined as always by our analyst, Robert Rosenthal from IlliniBoard.com. Robert, a lot of positives to talk about after Saturday. What are your biggest takeaways?
I mean, so many positive. All phases of the game, they dominated Nebraska. It was basically the team everybody wanted to see this season. You know, it's Brandon Peters throwing to Josh Amaterbebe and his other receivers, and Donnie Navarro had 5 catches, and you had 2 tailbacks over 100 yards, and you had 5 turnovers forced by the defense. You know, every piece of what this build was being sold as was there today. That was a complete and total domination, in every statistical category, and it's crazy to say that after how the season started.
And we know it's a big game, but how important was this as far as the scale of the season and going forward?
Yeah, when you lost those 2 games at home to 2 teams you could have competed with, especially what we've seen since, you dug this massive hole. Maybe the Nebraska or maybe the Wisconsin loss wasn't as bad. Maybe you can chalk that one up, but when you lose the first 3 in a season where you're supposed to be showing something, it's really big hole to dig out of. And to go on the road for 2 games and have a performance where you come out with 2 road victories and now you go back home against Ohio State, it's a quick way to dig out of that hole.
How impressed were you with Brandon Peters and the way he played, given that he missed 21 days?
Yeah, I was really impressed. It was easily his best game, I think. He was, not only the statistics are there, but he looked to be in complete control. Even the balls he threw away of, okay, we're at the goal line, I can't get sacked here. I can't get a penalty for intentional grounding. Mm-hmm. I'll run over to here, throw it over that guy's head. We'll get it on the next play. He just was in complete control of everything he was doing, and it's been a long time since an Illini fan felt like, well, hey, this quarterback is in complete control and is dominating this game.
Did you expect Isaiah Williams to get mixed in a little bit more there?
Yeah, it was quite interesting that he had him out there on the first play. So the answer to who's going to start the game was both of them, one at wide receiver and one at quarterback. But, I expected them to work him in. It was a really smart play that one time. I think it was 3rd and 3. They went to a timeout. They came out, put Williams in, picked up the first down. He came back out, give him a different look, do the Wildcat thing, and keep Nebraska confused. So it was impressive to see how they used both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great way to use him, when you need to go for a first down or anything like that. So, I mean, props to them. The coaches, I think, made good decision-making there.
Yeah, I mean, after the Wisconsin game, there were a lot of questions of like, did they really need to go to him there and that type of thing. This is, obviously after a win, there's going to be praise, but this is one of those like, well, that worked well together. And having them both on the field, even there was one play in the first half, just before halftime, where he handed off to Peters, or Peters handed off to Williams, and you could tell Williams was going to throw. Nebraska covered it, but that was a little trick play of hand to him, and he's going to try and toss deep. So, it gives you the option to do things like that, and we'll see if there's more to come.
How about Blake Hayes and that trick play, the fake punt there
Yes.
to go for a first down?
I don't think he wanted to be all over Twitter, national Twitter, of, hey, the punter just faked out an invisible player somewhere near. But hey, he's got a good attitude toward things. So I saw him laughing at himself on Twitter earlier. So it's fun.
Yeah, he looked kind of like a little league running back, like just kind of,
yes.
Oh, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna go for it anyway.
Yes.
Whatever, he added a little flair to it, so you can't. It's.
You're right. I mean, last week at Rutgers, there was that play where he almost took off.
Right.
Rutgers turned and ran, and there was like, is he gonna go? No, he kicked it, and so you knew this was maybe coming soon, and so. Yeah, it was fun, and so he tripped over this and that over that. It's it was a first down, and it was a smart call at the right time. Nebraska's thinking at halftime of maybe getting back in the game, and you do something like this, it's demoralizing.
Yeah, and how about special teams as a whole? Of course, got to give credit to Blake Hayes, but James McCourt also, and just the whole unit had a great game as well.
Yeah, again, it was all 3 phases that, the field position game, which can be set up so much by special teams, was won by Illinois, and the turnovers on defense and everything else. And when you need a field goal, you made it, and when you needed a big punt, you got it. So it's just, when everything's clicking like that, you get a result like this where it's not even close in the fourth quarter.
What do those turnovers and those takeaways do for this team?
They do a lot. it's what they're built to do. They Lovey will correct people when people say turnovers, and he'll say takeaways, because the idea is not that they turned it over to you, that his defense took it away. And I think that's what you saw. I mean, there were 5 turnovers. 2 of them were, you kind of wish they weren't turnovers. They were 4th down plays where you want the guy to bat it down because you lose 30 yards. But the 4th down interceptions can be fun. Jake Hansen said in the post game, hey, given the same situation again, he'll probably still intercept it the next time, because he's thinking, hey, I'm about to go 100 yards to score. So, but yeah, everything that they want to do to boost themselves to keep the game rolling, that's what they produced today.
And how important is this going forward, because they have a tough stretch of their season ahead of them?
Yeah, it was very important after the whole Doug to get 2 wins here on the road. Ohio State, you can maybe forgive them, although you want to see them be at least competitive. And then 2 games, Iowa and Northwestern, where you want to say, okay, this is the Big Ten West. These are your opponents. Can you go toe-to-toe with them? And so that's what needs to be seen as you head toward the end of this season.
And I think if they play the way that they did on Saturday, I mean, those games become competitive. Maybe they don't have a chance to beat Ohio State, but I think a fair shot maybe for Northwestern or Iowa.
I think you're right. I think being competitive the next 3 weeks is very key. That you've got a couple wins here, but you don't want to finish 2-6. So you want to be competitive in all 3 games and at least get 1 more, if not 2. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they can build on this, or if this was more Nebraska's got a lot of defensive problems and Illinois took advantage of it.
What do you think, maybe out of Northwestern or Iowa, which one do they get the win?
I mean, I think Illinois fans are thinking toward that Northwestern game as, what if Northwestern is streaking toward the Big Ten championship game and Illinois can shut that door? So, it's a decent matchup, I think. Illinois does a few things on offense that, Northwestern maybe might struggle with, but, I mean, they're playing awfully well right now. And so, yeah, I think Northwestern more than Iowa's defense is really, really good, and that's going to be a tough challenge. But, again, that's what you want to see. Are they going toe-to-toe with the teams they're supposed to be competing with in their own division in the Big Ten? And they've got to show something in those 2 games.
And I think it's important, considering Lovie Smith's tenure and the jobs of some of the coaching staff. Definitely. Yeah, the schedule was shortened this year, and COVID made everything weird, and the first game wasn't until October 23rd. But it did provide, the Big Ten West is going to be fairly balanced this year. There's no really great teams, but there's no really awful teams. Can you compete with everybody on Saturdays? They competed with Purdue. They did not compete with Wisconsin or Minnesota. Mm-hmm. And now they've come out and beaten Nebraska and beat Rutgers, and we'll see where they build from there. All right, well, it is a happy plane trip home for the Illini as they get 2 wins in a row. Robert, thank you as always for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
You got it. Thanks.